Preparing to live stream the meeting. You know, all you can do is laugh.
Yeah, no, it's like, what are you like doing the best that we can.
Okay, and here we go, because we love YouTube. YouTube works within seconds. Just love Google products. All right, we will wait a few minutes for Stephanie to distribute the Zoom link via. This is Zoom to YouTube, and then YouTube posted on Facebook. We're just checking off all the technology boxes right now.
We're using Empire's YouTube account right now.
Yes, it's on Empire's YouTube account. We are live.
I don't see it yet, but I believe you.
You know, we don't have a ton of traction on our YouTube account, so I think Stephanie posting to Facebook is really what will hopefully get us some followers. Yeah, here we go. Empire Baltimore introduction. I see that. For those of you who are tuning in, I see one watching. That one person may be me. It may be me in lifetime, or it may be you. Listen, a few years ago, we added extemp to the Empire ballot. And that's because we think a really important part of this activity is a student's ability to adapt to the events of a trial. Ben, what do you feel about extemp?
What'd you say?
How important do you think extemp is to mock trial? The ability to adapt to what's happening in the trial.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everything. You know, you do not know. You know, my team competed at AMTS National Championship a couple weeks ago, and sometimes judges just do stuff that no one, you know, that thing that I always tell my students, oh, nobody will do this. And that's the very first thing that a judge does. And, you know, you gotta adjust, you gotta deal with it.
You really do. I think that's one thing that separates mock trial from just a speech competition, right? That the need, you never know who is going to be sitting in front of you, right, on the bench or in the jury box for that matter.
You may see a exercise in extemp here just because I'm starting to feel a tiny bit of rain.
Oh no!
See me dash for the door.
All right,
that's why.
Why don't we just get started? Let's just get started. Good afternoon / early evening now. I'm Justin. I'm the executive director for Empire Mock Trial. It is a really exciting day for our Empire family. We are announcing the opening of a new competition, a new program, Empire Baltimore, the Camden Yards Classic. The fact that we will be in person at least once, maybe more than once, we'll talk about that next week, in person this fall is so exciting for me personally. I know it's exciting for Ben and everyone in the mock trial community to get back together again and try to figure out what this new world really looks like. This, whether we call it a post-COVID world, we know this world is different, but we know we are all working together to try to get back to a new sense of normal. When we approached the 2022 Empire competition season, there were two things that we decided on pretty early on. First, we would offer a hybrid option again. So we would offer at least one in-person competition and then a virtual program as well for those schools that are not comfortable with traveling. Additionally, we do think there's a lot of good that comes from participating in online programs. They're super educational, right? They're more accessible since all you need is a laptop or a phone and the internet. So we're excited to offer another virtual option this year. And the second thing that we had settled on a few months ago was that all of our trials would take place at a hotel or conference center. The reason being, we experienced such success last year at Empire Chicago with our trials at the courthouse, at the hotel. It really went so well. And the fact that with the virus and not knowing, right, what to expect this fall, we've seen it change over the last 2 years often. So we know that a hotel or conference space is more well suited to adapt to the changing circumstances of the virus. So with all of that in mind, we conducted a bit of a nationwide search. We looked at cities where we've hosted competitions before, and we explored new cities as well. And that's how we landed on Baltimore. The person who is most impactful here and who is really responsible for us coming to Baltimore is Ben Garmo. Ben is a mock trial guru, a mock trial expert. You may recognize his voice today as the co-host of the Mock Review podcast, which is a great podcast that I encourage all of you to tune into. Ben is also the national championship winning coach at the University of Maryland, Baltimore City, otherwise known as UMBC. He is the Salisbury Director of Trial Advocacy at the University of Maryland's Carey School of Law. He's also a board member at MyLaw, Maryland Law, Youth, and Citizenship, which is an incredible nonprofit that runs one of the nation's largest high school mock trial competitions, the Maryland State Competition. Ben is also a newly adopted son of Baltimore. He's lived in the city for, is it 6 years, Ben?
Yeah, I think it's coming up on 7 almost.
Coming up on 7. So Ben will tell you all about Baltimore today, talk about his passion and why he thinks Baltimore is such a great city for mock trial. So Ben, let's start right there. Why is Baltimore the place to be when it comes to mock trial?
I think there are so many different things that make Baltimore perfect for mock trial. This facility, I'm sitting here on the terrace of the Hilton Baltimore, where it's going to be the home of Empire here in Baltimore. It's a absolutely stunningly beautiful facility. Just blocks away, you have world-class food. I'm sitting here. The warehouse you can see behind me is Camden Yards. I'm a little biased, but I think it's the most beautiful ballpark in America. And there's a legal community here and a mock trial community that's really excited to welcome Empire to Baltimore, from my UMBC program to my Maryland Law program, which is just up the road a couple blocks that way, to my law, the Maryland High School program, and the nonprofit that runs that. I think you all are going to be excited by the facilities here, and I think you're going to be excited by the judges and some of the Maryland teams, so hopefully we can rope into this. I think Baltimore is the perfect place to bring an Empire competition.
Ben, I'm happy you talked about judges, right? Because you've run a competition before. Anyone who's watching this has been involved with a mock trial competition in some capacity. We know the importance of judges. We know the importance of volunteers, right? We can buy every ticket in Camden Yards if we want to, but if we don't have quality, competent, right, mock trial judges, we can't run a successful competition. So talk to me about some of your connections to the legal community in Baltimore and what you've seen from working with my law in terms of both the quality of our judging pool in Baltimore and also their willingness to give their time to students and judge mock trial.
Yeah, I think that one of the great things about Baltimore is it's a big city and there's a large legal community, but we at UMBC and Maryland, we don't have to share that community with a ton of other schools. There's not as many, we have Johns Hopkins up that way, but there's not a ton of other ball games in town, if you will. And because of that, we've been able to cultivate a really dedicated volunteer base of mock trial judges at UMBC. We've been hosting our undergraduate competition, the Charm City Classic, at the law school for a couple years now, And we've just got a really wonderful base of sitting judges, experienced litigators, and mock trial alumni who are really invested in this. And then you mentioned MyLaw. So the past 2 years, MyLaw has hosted a statewide virtual competition and has had to recruit hundreds and hundreds of qualified judges. And I know for a fact, having talked to some of those judges, that they will be here judging at Empire and are so excited for this. So while I can't promise that you won't have that one wonky judge who says that thing that, you don't care for, I think that on the whole, the judging community here is going to welcome Empire with open arms and hopefully give everyone a really great competitive experience.
That's so great to hear, Ben, and it's such a difference maker. This will be the 5th city in which we are running or have attempted to run a mock trial program, and what we've seen is judge recruitment. Right, it's the most important, it's the most challenging part of starting a new competition, because I think sometimes what we mockers lose sight of is, we are asking these people to volunteer, right? Like these lawyers, these law students, these judges to volunteer up to 4 hours, and some of them will do like full weekends, right, or full days, 4 to 8, 9 hours of their weekend. Right, we're asking someone to get off the bench and be like, Your Honor, I know you've had a full week of real court, but now what we want you to do, don't spend time with your family, your friends, your girlfriend, your kids. Come on over to the Hilton, Baltimore Inner Harbor, and give us another 5 hours of your time, bro. Like that's a huge ask, right? Like,
yeah,
it's such a big ask. So you need people who really love it. Right, like who love doing this and who want to turn up for it, who want to give you the time for it.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that most people, at least, would agree that if your judge wants to be there, you might not agree with every ruling they make. Maybe you don't agree with every number they put down on the ballot, but if they genuinely want to be there and they make an earnest effort to participate, then I think that's such a huge part of the process, right? Of making sure that you have quality judges, of course, but judges who are invested in the process. And I really hope that the judges that we have for this competition, that the Baltimore and the broader legal community from DC and other cities around here will really invest in this activity. And I think that people are going to have a great time, because Empire is such a wonderful competition. And you all do things in such a professional and amazing way. I think our judges are really gonna love being a part of
that. I hope so, Ben. And we saw this with Chicago too. We love welcoming new judges and volunteers into the Empire family and rolling out the blue carpet for them and showing them how we do things and making them feel valued, because they are valued and they are now a part of a new community. It's also really cool to see. We had a handful of judges, a handful of attorneys fly in to volunteer in Chicago, and then to see them interacting with our new judges. And I think also inspires them and makes them feel like they're a part of something bigger than just this one competition. And Ben, you may not know this, but this is also my sales pitch to our Empire alums who may be watching this on Facebook through YouTube. Consider judging in Baltimore, right? We can't do this without our alumni as both blue shirts and judges and jurors. So if you're a former Empire student and you're excited that we're in a new city and you're thinking, oh man, I wish I had the chance to go to Baltimore. Well, you do have a chance to go to Baltimore, right? Come on in. We always have at least a handful of hotel rooms that are dedicated for our staff, for our judges, for our blue shirts, and for our jurors. So if you fly in, we can work out accommodations, and we can work out baseball tickets, and we always have appreciation night where we bring our coaches and our staff together with our judges. So please, if you're an Empire alum or if you're a coach that knows alums that would be interested in being a part of this, spread the word. Which leads me, Ben, to location, right? We've talked generally about some of Baltimore's positives, but what specifically about this hotel, right? This hotel that is hosting all of our mock trials, our opening and closing ceremonies, right? We know you're sitting across from Camden Yards right now. What else about this location makes it really special?
I think when I think about an ideal location for a mock trial tournament, I think about two things: a combination of having everything you need and having everything you want, right? So this has both of those things. It's everything you need. The courtrooms, the ballrooms we'll use as courtrooms are beautiful, they're modern, they're huge, tons of room to spread out and have that sort of grand experience that everyone wants. There's a FedEx office a couple blocks that way if you forget, that demonstrative, or you print one at the last minute. World-class food right around the corner here. Crab cakes is going to be a theme of mine. You can get some pretty darn good crab cakes not far from here. But then in terms of what you want, right, if you walk about 3 blocks that way, you get to the inner harbor and you can just have this stunningly beautiful view of the Baltimore harbor. You can hop on a water taxi and cut across the harbor and head down to some of Baltimore's other neighborhoods. We've got a world-class aquarium down there that's worth a stop if you want to take a field trip. I know it's a mock trial tournament, so everybody's going to be in their hotel rooms prepping, but I think that everything you need to have a successful mock trial tournament is here, and this hotel has everything that you could ask for. It's a beautiful new facility, and then everything you want is within just a couple blocks of the hotel, and we're maybe 15 minutes from BWI Airport. So I think from a mock trial hosting perspective, this is about as good as it gets.
I have to say I am excited about everything you just talked about, Ben. I think I almost said when I was younger, which is true. When the organization was younger, right? 5-6 years ago, we put together, very elaborate mock trial competitions at courthouses, and sometimes with, right, buses that would take you 25 or 30 minutes to get to your courthouse, and you'd have to meet at a staging area, and you have to get up extra early, right? And then you'd have to stand online sometimes at security. I remember, we for a couple of years there, we contracted extra court security officers to make sure that you could get through as quickly as possible in the morning. And it didn't really matter. There was still a delay. So all of that it's gone for a competition like this, or competition like Chicago last year, right? It's what can we do to make this really easy for you as a coach, right? Easy. You're bringing students to a new city. Maybe you're flying, maybe you're taking the train, maybe you're taking the bus or driving, right? But you're traveling to a new city. You have to prepare a complex case, right? So our approach in a competition like this is, what can we do to make it as easy as possible for you to have an enjoyable educational experience when you arrive? And like Ben said, everything is just in walking distance. I mean, if you didn't want to leave the hotel, that would be possible, right? I don't recommend that. It's a very nice area. Leave the hotel. And I'm talking to you, super competitive mock trial team. You can leave the hotel and still do really well. But you could stay in the hotel. You could order sandwiches from Jimmy John's. You could order from the restaurant, and there's a coffee shop downstairs. So you don't need to leave the hotel. And that's what we want to give you the option to wander outside and explore, but give you everything you need in one central location. So that's a big benefit of this setup here. Ben, I know there's an Instagram takeover happening, right? Tomorrow. I'm not, Stephanie, who does our branding and marketing, had to talk to me about what an Instagram takeover is. Definitely feeling my age a little bit here. What is an Instagram takeover, and why should we /me/ the whole Empire family care about it?
I think I was told it's like a MySpace top 8, right? Isn't it something?
Yes.
Like
Yes. Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, there you go. No, so myself and most notably a couple of my students at UMBC will be helping me out tomorrow. We're gonna log into Empire's Instagram and post some stories. We'll probably start here at the Hilton, walk across the street to the ballpark, and then maybe walk a couple blocks that way to the harbor, and just kind of show y'all just what Baltimore is about, what you should expect when you come to Charm City. So keep an eye out for that. I'll probably be behind the camera more than in front of the camera because I've got students for that. But I think it's going to be great. There's just so much. I actually live about 2 blocks that way within walking distance of all of this stuff. And there's just so much that you can get to so easily around here. So we'll try to use Empire's Instagram account and UMBC Mock Trials Instagram account to show everybody just a little snippet, a little preview of what to expect here in Baltimore.
No Facebook Live, don't you worry, Empire family. We will make sure that the content actually gets to you on time. What time are we starting that, Ben?
3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We'll start here and then start posting probably about an hour's worth of content.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that. So on Monday, we are announcing the full schedule for the 2022 season. We have been asked about other competitions. Yes, there will be other competitions. This is not the only competition, but we are saving that announcement for next week. The following Monday, so mark your calendars, May 2nd, we will be opening applications for the 2022 season, which is exciting. The one thing I will tell you schedule-wise for Empire Baltimore, it is the first Empire in-person competition, the first Empire Classic competition in about 5 years that will follow a 1-2-1 format. 1 round Friday night, 2 rounds Saturday, 1 round on Sunday morning, and then the finals will be Sunday afternoon. So we've decided on this format for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, it is the Jewish holiday that weekend, and round 4 will finish before sundown. The championship round will also finish before sundown. So we wanted to be as inclusive as possible and not conflict with the holiday. That's the first reason. Second reason is we wanted to give our schools the opportunity to go to Camden Yards. And we thought the 105 game on Sunday would work out really, really well. The one bummer is that if you are one of the 2 finalists, the final round will be held at the same time as the baseball game. But, I think it's okay, right? In that case, if you're one of the 2 finalists, you're off in the law school, like you're not going to be that sad that you're missing the Orioles game. So, but for everyone else, you're relaxed, competition's over, all 4 trials are over. We can have a good time on that Sunday game. We did think about Saturday night or even maybe Friday night. The Orioles are in town both of those days, but let's be honest, how many of you would really be able to focus or relax or care about a night at Camden Yards if you had mock trial the next day, right? We know you'd be like, oh, we got to run our crosses and directs or scrimmage or debrief. So we thought Sunday worked out best for everyone. Ben, if you were going to give a little closing argument here, I'm putting you on the spot. Closing argument for Baltimore, for Empire Baltimore. Why should they be excited? Why should they apply and put Baltimore as their number 1? What would you say?
I think that I've been to a lot of mock trial competitions. I've run a lot of mock trial competitions. It's hard to find everything in one place, right? Usually you go to a great competition and you got great judges and the rooms are 10 feet by 10 feet, or you go to a beautiful competition at a courthouse, but it takes an hour to get through security, right? I think the whole package is what we're going to have here. We've got a beautiful location. It's convenient. It's not hard to get into Baltimore. It's a very drivable city. This hotel is absolutely gorgeous. I joke about Camden Yards being the most beautiful ballpark in the country, but I actually think that it is. And so you get the unique opportunity to see a Sunday afternoon game there. And I just think that the entire Baltimore legal community and mock trial community is going to rally around this competition. Baltimore is a blue collar city. We take a lot of pride in working hard here and doing a lot of great things. So if you've heard stuff about Baltimore and maybe you think that Baltimore is not a place you want to visit, I strongly encourage you to rethink that. I've very deliberately not made any references to The Wire throughout this entire process, but Baltimore has so much to offer, whether it's food or mock trial or location or baseball. And I think you're going to have it all when you come here. So I hope that you put this competition at the top of your list. I'm going to be working as hard as possible behind the scenes to make sure to support Justin and Empire, to be the best partners that we can be to just make Empire Baltimore, the Camden Yards Classic, the best competition that you will go to.
Amazing closing argument. Could not have said it better myself. Ben, thank you on behalf of the entire Empire community, Empire family. Thank you for all you're doing to make this program possible. And we're excited to get going, and we're excited to bring people to this city.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin. I am thrilled and I can't wait.
All right, Ben, we will talk to you soon. And for our Empire family, follow us on social media. Exciting updates over the next week. The Instagram live, Instagram story, Instagram takeover tomorrow by the UMBC National Championship mock trial team, and then announcing the season next week. So a lot to look forward to. Have a great weekend.